Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Monday. We got a loaded card. We are going to go over some NFL. We're going to do some look aheads. We got NBA. We got college hoops. We got a few other things to go over. We're going to go over the NBA props market watch. We're going to go over a lot of things, kind of recapping this NFL season. And no better other person to do it with than my buddy Dan Alexander. Dan, how was your weekend?
Dude, it's a great weekend, man. Nice betting weekend here, and it's a favorite time of the year, right? We got NFL. Do they still call it Super Wild Card Weekend since they do the Monday game? Regardless, wild card games are in action. I just want to make sure I get the branding right, Andy. But we're your one-stop shop to get you ready to bet this week. No Monday Night Football to talk about for the first time, guys. So we're going to be talking a little doubleheader action with Steve Merril. That's right, 2 R's, 1 L, and 2 NBA games for you. Nuggets, Sixers, best bets coming up. Warriors, Clippers, best bets. He's going to stay on the hardwood, talk a little college basketball, big matchup, Michigan State, USC. We always start with Gianni. We're going to go through the Steam report, see what he's seeing as far as people hitting these early games, his thoughts, early thoughts on the NFL wild card weekend. And, of course, we got Bill Krackomberger, that is. Take the over on the rants, coming this Monday. He's got an NBA prop for you, and we'll maybe even touch upon the college football semis. But, Andy, all that and more, hell of a weekend. Coach is already being fired. Pete Carroll is out, and Zach Taylor is staying for the Bengals. Probably even worse than firing your coach is keeping Zach Taylor around. But, hey, this is where we're at, Andy, on a Monday, brother. Let's get into it.
Was Raheem Morris the quickest coach fired ever?
He might have gotten fired on the sideline. He might have gotten fired by the fourth quarter, where they were just
pretty quick.
The crazy thing about the Falcons, and also Andy, I have to pat myself a little bit on the back here in the open. When you and I went through our 5 picks, I said, here is how the NFC South will go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win. The Panthers are going to cover the game. And then the Falcons are going to win outright, and the Carolina Panthers will be your champion. So we nailed that on Friday, Andy. So that at least that helped me cash a couple bets. Couldn't quite parlay all those results together, but it feels good when you see it that well. It was just, you knew that's how the NFC South had to end, right? And that ending of that Steelers game, dude. There's so much to recap. There's so much to look forward to. But yeah, Raheem Morris fired maybe like mid-fourth quarter. Arthur Blank gave him a look and was like, hey, buddy, just so you know, Coach Hart, it's going to be your last few minutes. And you could argue Raheem Morris, he is a huge part of what was holding that team back. I mean, so much talent offensively. Defensively, they played way better than expected coming into this year. And if they don't lose that game to the Jets, they're the team that's in the playoff for the NFC South, and I would have been cashing my playoff ticket. So I was happy. It was a little retribution seeing Raheem Morris out, costing me that winning ticket.
I did not hedge my season win total on the Saints, and just barely gets there. It barely gets there.
So you're Raheem Morris's biggest fan.
Love him. Win, didn't cover. That's all I needed, baby. Let's bring in Gianni. Gianni, you had a heartbreaker on Baltimore on the money line last night. Was that correct?
I had a really good day, man. I had a good day in college, a good week. Up for 2026 already. Went 4-2 in the early and afternoon NFL. All 4% plays. Very good day. And then at night, I was ready to fire 5% on the over, and I had a strong lean on Baltimore as well. All of a sudden, I get confirmation on Baltimore that they are going to steam the Baltimore side. So I said, let me get in on the money line before it gets up to like really high. Because even though in the series, the money line hasn't come into play in a while with these two, I knew it was going through that key number of 3. It was already at 3.5, and it ended up going to like 4.5 at spots. So I end up putting in some Baltimore action, and you saw how that turned out. But again, I'm excited about the playoffs. NFL season finished. I finished number 1 in profit in NFL, finished number 1 in profit in college football, as those seasons have come to a close. So we'll take it. Now it's time to attack college basketball. And I just got my updated power ratings, the exact same system that I used for NFL and college football. And here's what I'll share with you guys right now. I know that the pollsters look at Ken Palm a lot, and I respect Ken Palm's numbers. In fact, I use his data. But here's what I could tell you. When it comes to ratings and rankings, everyone has their own system on how they do it. And so far, I disagree with what they have. They got Michigan as the best team in the country. Nothing could be further from the truth. They have Arizona as the second best team in the country. Nothing could be further from the truth. They have Iowa State as the third best team in the country. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, they have Duke at 9. They have Duke at 9. And on a neutral field, Duke would be about a 2-point favorite over the field, over every other team in all of college basketball in true power ratings, closer to a 3-point favorite. And you know who's right behind them? The team that's exactly behind them, let me see where he has them, is Purdue. At least he has them 4th, and then Gonzaga, which he has 5th. But some of those teams, like they got Vanderbilt in that. You know how far down I have to go to 14-0 Vanderbilt? They just cracked my man's top 30. They're now 29th. And my man's got them at number 6. I don't know where they are on the AP poll, but that's exactly where you're going to be able to make some money in college basketball, exactly like college football, because a lot of the market is based on rankings. The odds makers know that the bettors are looking at the rankings, and these lines are shaded towards the bias of that rankings. And just like we took advantage in college football, we're going to do the same in college basketball. And those power rankings are as sharp as they come for NFL. So we're ready for these playoffs. And going into the playoffs, the number 1 team, he has adjusted, and it is now the Seattle Seahawks. So going into last week, and it wasn't even a big adjustment with the Rams. They're like neck and neck, Seattle and the Rams. But it would probably be a pick-em in favor of Seattle this time, where just a week ago, the Rams were about, 1.5-point favorite, 1.5 on a neutral field. So Seattle's picked it up a little bit, and, that defense is legit. The difference between the Rams and Seattle's had the number 1 toughest strength of schedule in the NFL. The Rams had the number 1 toughest strength of schedule in the NFL. Seattle about 15th, about an average strength of schedule. So we'll see what happens in the playoff. Just wanted to share some power ratings with you guys.
Nice. How do these power rankings from Ken Palm, do these have a direct impact on the lines? Like, where do the bookmakers?
100%, 100%, because the odds makers know that a lot of bettors, even sharp bettors, are using these numbers from Ken Palm. They're using his data. In fact, even his predictions. He puts a prediction out for every matchup, and if you look at the point spread and the total, I would venture a guess they're very close. Some will be, a couple points off, what have you, but I would venture a guess they're very close. And again, that's where I think you'll find a lot of the edges, and just learning from the betting syndicates and, sharp guys that I've worked next to and had the privilege of being in the room and listening to them talk and having those discussions, like how off the rankings are and compared to what their numbers have. And then it would just play out that way. So yeah, definitely Ken Palm, AP, those affect the betting market for sure. Because you see it, it's even in the conversation. Oh, the unranked team's favored versus the ranked team. We say it all the time. So the fact that it's in the dialogue, it's just like subconsciously, we're always looking at the rankings. Who's number 1, who's number 10, who's in the rankings, who's unranked. And it just has that bias. It's almost like we talk about, if you look up on the board before you create your own line for an MMA matchup, you're already biased on who the favorite of the fight is. And just like any game, if you look up at the board before you made your own line for next week's wild card games, then you've already been biased to conclude that Chicago should be favored, or Philadelphia should be favored, or New England should be favored, or Houston should be favored. Where if you did your own ratings and before you looked up, you may come up with something different. You know what I mean? Like, wait, Pittsburgh should be favored at home against Houston. But just we're human. So if we look up at the board and we see that the sports books have Houston as -3 juiced, whatever, we already assume they are the favorite. So that's why I like to set up my power ratings and create what the line is, and then look at what the board has. Or for that at least for the markets I have numbers to create.
Sure. We got a question. Can VR tell us anyone that's undervalued in college basketball? Maybe. Do you have anybody that maybe
I love it. Great question.
Who got off to a start that's playing good now?
Yeah, great question. Let me look at my list right here. Where's Alabama? Alabama is not in the top 10. Alabama is a top 10 team. I'll tell you that right now. Another team, let me look because of their record. Tennessee, also a top 10 team. They're barely in the top 20. Oh, here's one you're going to love. You want to talk about undervalued? Well, let me see where they have Auburn. Ken Palm has Auburn at 34. Okay. I have Auburn at 11. I have Auburn at 11. So Auburn's right outside my top 10, right behind Iowa State and Tennessee. Florida, another team I think that isn't even anywhere near the rankings because of their record. Oh, they're 14 in Ken Palm's. Okay, I have Florida 13, so that's close. But that's what I look at, like those teams that their record isn't like real sexy, but are still a really good team, like Kentucky, who's 20, probably not even in the power ratings, in the rankings, I mean, but they are a top 15 team power rating wise. So yeah, I would look at Kentucky. I would look at Auburn, and who else did we talk about? Alabama, we said, in Florida, not Florida, but yeah, Tennessee. Auburn's the biggest. Like I said, top 10 team, and nowhere in the power rating, in the rankings because of their record.
Yeah, and Gianni, Andy, people are going to want to know about NFL playoffs, these opening lines that dropped, any early action that you saw. But first, since we're talking college basketball, might as well bring up college football. Do these games get hit early, the college football playoffs? Or you already know who's in. So you see people playing openers on these. Have you really seen anything? And just your thoughts as we head on into the next.
Great question. That they do if immediately. You'll know if they think the market's off, they'll get hit immediately. Okay. That didn't happen. So now the only thing that will happen is on a side is if you see the market move, like if the public moves a line in one direction, and then you'll see them come in and take some value. But if they don't hit it early, they're probably not going to hit the side late, because you got to remember, this late in the season, these lines are really tight. Most of the betting syndicates, they're done. They're looking at team totals. They're looking at player props, maybe second half bets, maybe a total. But they think the sides, the numbers are really tight, and they're going to reflect most of their power ratings. That's why they're rarely betting the sides in these big playoff games. They're rarely betting even in NFL playoff games, and even in the Super Bowl. They rarely are betting a side in the Super Bowl. They're betting the props, maybe a total. So yeah, that's a great question. That's why you don't see much of a movement. Like Indiana's been on 4 all week, even with the total. 46.5, moved a half point one way, then back sitting at 46.5. So no one's really taking a big position, but based on my ratings, there was both are off actually. And I released a 5% for Friday, and I'm starting to really like this Thursday game as well. I just haven't figured out what the rating is. So if your power ratings are different, you fire right away. And we saw that at least the big betting syndicates that are moving the market, they didn't do that. So now it's just a matter of, are they going to do it late? Like, is a player going to be not playing that they thought was playing? So take advantage of that information. Or like I said, if the public knocks a number out of whack, or the weather affects the total. But I think they're both in domes. So I don't know if it's going to affect the weather at all.
Gianni, this time of year, these are just such public known games. You got college football players. Like it's pretty hard to find an edge in these games, like opening line, isn't it? It's not like, when you have a week 18 game where the book puts out a line and all of a sudden the quarterback's ruled out. Like where's the edge on these opening lines?
And that's we talked about it on the show throughout the week. This is a perfect example of a tough market. If the line's not moving, then it means it's pretty efficient. Like you're going to see an inefficient market, and what reflects that is a line moving significantly. That means it's trying to find where it should be. You know what I mean? But when this late in the NFL, bro, you're rarely going to see that kind of move unless there's such a narrative. That's when we'll see it. Like Billy Walters talked about, where that he bet, 7 figures on a Super Bowl because the opening number was so off from what he had it. He thought the dog should be favored, actually. But it was the narrative that year that the AFC team was so much better than that Saints team, and that'll be the case. Like if one of these teams that shouldn't be here start doing well, I think then that'll happen. Like if a Carolina beats the Rams type situation, and then, you know what I mean? That something off has to happen, or a narrative or the Rams have to be so dominant, win by like 40 to where it looks like they're just going to coast to the Super Bowl now. And then the line will be off. You'll be paying too high a premium and they'll get involved. Otherwise, they'll sit it out and look for props like you do.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. We got a lot of props. We got a lot of props to go. We'll go over a lot of props in the NBA. Do we have any steam for college basketball, NBA?
Yeah, real
NHL,
quick, couple signs for you. 872 Cornell -1.5, 874 Ohio State +1 to -1, 876 Charleston +2 to -1, 884 Brown laid -115 to get +10, and then 885 Oregon -5. NBA real quick, Knicks -1.5 and 2, Celtics -10, Sixers -10 and 11, and the Warriors -1. So there's some hoops for you. And again, we have that college football game later today. I don't really have much. My opinion right now, if it was going off in 10 minutes, my money would be on Montana State and the under, but I haven't fired on anything, to be honest with you. That's just based on those FCS power ratings, but they're not really – I haven't used them throughout the season. I just asked to give me a number on it, and he made Montana State a 2-touchdown favorite, and he made the total 53. So just based on his number, I like the favorite and under.
All right, what do you have up for everyone on this Monday?
All right, I have my 5% up for Friday. The Thursday package will be up later today as well, just deciding on how big a bet we will make it. And if I'm able to confirm anything today, I'll put up the package as well. Otherwise, got the long-term team up with me for 2026. Looking forward to these playoffs. We did really good in the regular season, and I don't think the playoffs are going to be any different. So best of luck to everyone ahead, and do some damage this week.
Nice. Let's have a big 2026.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Let's do this, man. We need a good year ahead of us. So thank you very much, Gianni, for joining us on this Monday. Dan, we're gonna do some recap of NFL. We'll go where the book actually pretty decent, like where the books won and where the public won. Like we had some pretty notable wins.
It was a crazy week of just trying to figure out who's in, who's out. You know what I mean? Like it was a tough week to bet. So I'm not surprised that there's a pretty lopsided where books won, where public won. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I also got a pretty funny troll comment that I would like to read at some point, but we'll do NFL questions right here. Real quick though, I do have a 4% best bet in the NBA. We'll tell you about that a little bit later because Dan, we got some big things for 2026. We're doing some things a little bit different. So we'll tell everyone about that here at the end of the show, and we'll expand upon it tomorrow. So let's go to these questions here. So Dan, questions that I posed to you. Who got luckier, the Panthers or the Steelers?
44-yard field goal from a guy who's been absolutely ripping them. I know he was a rookie, maybe because Boswell missed. You know, it starts running through your mind when you're a young player like this. I just can't screw it up. I can't screw it up. You have to feel like the Steelers got pretty lucky. I mean, after that Isaiah Likely catch, it seemed like, I mean, there were accounts that were tweeting out, signed, sealed, delivered, game is iced. And then those old magnets on the goalposts, I saw some comments about that people were saying the deciding factor for the for the missed field goals back to back there, Andy. Of course, tongue in cheek.
Well, Rodgers threw a pass that was so bad, like the Ravens defenders ran into each other and knocked themselves out of the game. But I am going with the Panthers.
That's big brain stuff though by Rodgers. Throw a pass so bad that you injure two players. I mean, that's Hall of Fame worthy stuff, Andy.
I mean, Rodgers had that run I think it was in the first half where he had a run for a first down, and instead of running for it, and he pulled up.
It's so funny.
Unbelievable.
That was a comedy of errors last night.
I'm going with Panthers. How do you have a must win? You lose the must win and you still advance. I mean, that was basically
because Andy, good teams win, great teams cover. They covered the game, so the betting gods said we have to make sure that the Falcons win this next game out.
Unbelievable. All right, worst New York performance. The Jets having no interceptions for the season. I don't know if you saw this. Somebody on Twitter calculated this out. If you would have bet $100 on game one for the opposing quarterback to not have an interception and then just rolled it over and bet it every week, you'd have like $6 million. So the Jets or the Giants winning 2 meaningless games at the end of the season to fall to number 5. Worst New York Jets performance.
Well, I mean, dude, the Giants, they do this every year. I believe, I don't have the exact numbers, but it's something like the record being like 8-30 something for these New York Giants teams. 4 of those wins came in week 17 or 18 when they were already eliminated and were only playing to up their draft stock. So nothing new here for the Giants. So going an entire season without one pick. And did you see in the game yesterday, there was one that hit the defender directly in the hands and he was just exasperated. Like, I feel like they had to be in on the bit, Andy. It hit him directly in the hands. It was a lob ball and he still drops it. Not having an interception for the first time since it's been recorded for an entirety of a season, that's got to be the worst performance. We know the Giants do this.
Agreed completely. Agreed completely that it's a Giant, especially when you go hire a defensive coach.
And for the Giants,
coach.
The Giants too, towards the end of the year, they're playing for their interim head coach, potentially auditioning for a new coaching job, especially with all these new openings. And I'm sure you know the story with John Mara and him battling through his cancer diagnosis. So there was something that the Giants said, hey, we already have our quarterback. We have a running back. We have our edge rushers. Sure, we need some offensive line help to shore up a little bit in the front, but we have a great wide receiver who's going to be coming back. There was a point where the Giants just said, let's just ball out this year because we don't need the draft stock. Every team does, obviously, Andy, but there was clear decision in that organization and in that locker room to say, let's just roll out the rest of the year and have some building blocks for next year.
Joey says a former defensive back head coach.
Yeah, nice. Well done.
It's really, well done. That is well done. All right. Best/worst QB situation coming out of 2025, going into 2026. You have the Dolphins who've got Tua, and let's just say Quinn Ewers did not put a lot of faith that they have their future quarterback. The Colts, you've got Daniel Jones coming off the Achilles. Anthony Richardson is done, and then Riley Leonard looks competent against the Texans team that was actually trying.
Yeah.
The Vikings, J.J. McCarthy with this hand thing didn't look good at a lot of times. What do you do there? The Browns, just perpetually the Browns. What do we do? Shador, who is it moving forward? Or the Cardinals, who've got Jacoby Brissett, who has really showed his true colors down the stretch. And then you have Kyler Murray. So I'll give you best and worst. Who's got the best and the worst?
Here's the thing. You look at the Colts and you saw how Riley Leonard played against that solid Texans defense who has made life hell for quarterbacks. You almost look at the Colts and say, what were you doing bringing Phillip Rivers in? Why didn't you just roll a couple of weeks with this young guy, see what he had? Complete misstep by them. Daniel Jones coming back from injury. How does he look? But he looked pretty damn good while he was healthy. Dolphins, Tua's not going to be there next year. You know what I mean? It's major question mark. Cardinals, I would be shocked if Kyler Murray takes another snap for them. So out of all of these teams, Dolphins will have a different quarterback situation. Cardinals will have a different quarterback situation. The other three, what do you kind of do? So as far as ranking best or worst, you just kind of throw the Browns in the worst because they're the Browns, and then you take it from
just
there.
The Browns. Agreed.
You know what I mean? And Stefanski was just fired for what it's worth. So you're going to have a new look there in Cleveland.
I agree. Browns probably have it worse. Probably Colts have it best. We at least have some
Here's
options.
My question. We got our Colts guy in here, and he's saying, did you see Riley Leonard? I mean, I was watching the game saying, hell no. Did he look worse than a 45-year-old Phillip Rivers?
Way better.
I don't know who might be smoking that block, because he surely wasn't worse than a 40-year-old man. That's for sure.
True. All right, let's go to where the books won, where the public won. And then we'll do the betting stats after. We need to get
after
Bill. We're running late. All right, where the books won. Texas minus the points. That was a big win for the books. Chiefs minus the points. Whoa. Chiefs money line and minus the points. That was a brutal one. And the Bengals minus the points to the Browns. Where the public won, Jacksonville minus the points was a huge win. Chargers, Denver under, that was pretty much no sweat. And the Patriots minus the points. Those were the big winners for the books and the public. We'll do NFL and NBA stats later, but let's bring in Bill. We got to hear our NBA prop fix, his thoughts on college football, and of course the patented Crackman rants. Bill, happy Monday. How are you?
Hey guys, how you guys doing? All right. And it's not going to be Crackman rants. It's really going to be what Crackman's been saying all season. NFL props is where the money is. To be blunt, I think I swept on WagerTalk with props last week.
Let's go.
My only loss is 8-1 in the NFL, 8-0 on props that I released, all obtainable lines too. I don't give out bullshit like you can get this prop at Bet365. No way. I give you an obtainable line. You can get it DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, MGM, everywhere. So my only loss for the week, I had Giants under first half, which was a terrible, terrible loss. I shouldn't really rant about one loss, but just trying to set up for a field goal and they wound up scoring a freak touchdown. So anyway, props is where it's at, guys. I'll just tell you that. I've been saying it all season. I said it. I meant it. I'm here to represent it. I'm just telling you, like, I usually don't get a little bit cocky and arrogant, but I've been saying to everyone on every show I'm on, get on board for props. I'm going to beat the NFL props. No, I'm not going to go 8-0 every week. But, and again, this, because I use unit sizing, so I'm telling you to bet more on props. Up almost 41 units last week, 40.7 units on WagerTalk between everything, including the 8-1 in the NFL. So all I can tell you is if you have an allergy to money, don't listen to me. I understand. But if it happens, it happens. People do have allergies to money. They want to bet NFL sides and you want to have some randomness like the Pittsburgh game last night. You want to have, and by the way, because I live in Vegas, I actually had that minus 155 money line on Baltimore last night. And at game time, I usually don't middle things, but at game time, I found the 5. So I actually took +5. So that's like it was like a $14,000 win I should have had instead of losing like juice. I lost a lot of juice actually. I lost about like $4,000 or something. No, not less than that. I lost like 2,400 I think it was. But yeah, I mean that kick cost me a lot of money. Was I upset? I went to bed not even thinking about it. I'm numb to that kind of stuff because I know that how much money I bet on my props, and I know I had even with that loss, living in Vegas, I'm saying you get those middles and scalp opportunities with these square sports books. Sometimes there's slow moving sports books, and so that one hurt me, but it didn't matter. I didn't give it to customers. I don't give too many sides to customers. It's more first halves, which I've actually, even though losing the Giant game, I've been successful this year on. The props is where it's at. I just keep on saying it. I tell you guys at the end of every show, get on board for the props. Get on board. And thank you for the ones that did. Thank you, not even for me. Thank you for beating your bookmaker. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't it the greatest feeling when they open up their app or their website and see you went 8-0 on NFL props and they say, wow, what is this guy? And now what happens? I'm hearing it already. People get thrown out of their local guy. Local guys, everyone thinks you're a sucker. Everyone just thinks and treats you like a sucker, like you're supposed to lose. And by the way, I'm using the brick and mortar sports books too. They just think you're suckers. You're supposed to lose. Now, places like Westgate, Circa, I killed Westgate this week. I killed Circa in general on other things, but as far as props go, oh God, killed Westgate, killed some sports books this week. They take the bets from me. But there's other sports books, like if you bet them with DraftKings, automatically DraftKings is like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's betting props. Wait a minute, he has a pulse. He bleeds red. Get rid of him. We want suckers and losers only. And I'm sorry. I know it's going to cost Bill Krackomberger in the end because there'll be some show along the way that maybe even a big show that, hey, Crack, we'd like to have you host this show. We want you to do this. Oh, but DraftKings, they don't want you. Good. Guess what? I don't need your money. I don't need to do any shows. I'm very good in life. I hate to brag about it. I'm very good in life. I don't need any sponsors for shows. It's great to have them, and I'll help you with them. And I love interviewing the directors of sports books, and I'm very friendly with some of them. But I'm on a rant today. Yes, I'm on a rant today about a lot of different. I don't like this last email I just got. It was actually a DM on Twitter that his bookmaker threw him out. He actually went 13-1, and his bookmaker threw him out. I said, hey, his name is Dan. Also, I said, Dan, what have you done for the season though? Have you, he said, Crack, I've killed him on props. I'm a loser betting NFL sides. For the year, I may have broke even for 18 weeks, and the bookmaker threw him out this week. I mean,
just because he went
sick
hot.
And tired.
It's brutal, and that's why one thing that Bill says in there, it really is us versus the bookmakers. Obviously, we have great relationships with some of them. They're great guys, but at the end of the day, we want to beat them at their own game. That's for damn sure. And I love it, Bill, because you go on and you're like, it's not really going to be crack rants, and then you're like, actually, hold my beer. I got a little something for you, brother. But also I said it, I meant it. Now I'm going to represent it. I'm definitely using that. That's a hell of a line. Crack, before we get into an NBA prop that you have for the folks, I do just want to get your thoughts here. We got Steve Merril coming up. He's got some NBA bets and some college basketball bets coming your way as well. So the picks are coming, folks. But just early thoughts here. Wild card weekend. Do you fire on openers? Were there any openers that stood out to you? And does the focus on props continue? Does it drop down a little bit come playoff time, or is it just full steam ahead now that there's fewer games and it's something that's more focused on heading into the playoffs?
I'm logging in. I made one bet, and I'm just trying to think of the detail. I don't want the public to bet on these things just because this is strictly on the line. I just bet that just now. I just bet that at South Point. I bet Texans.
What is that? That's the Texans laying 3.
Texans laying 3 minus $1.10. I just bet that. I thought the 3 is a good line. There's 3.5 popping up there. It's more of an anti-Steelers play. And to be real blunt, one of the sharpest sports books in the world has Green Bay Packers -1, -15.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Odds logic.
That's basically split line, because you have them as 1.5 at one spot last night, and now we're seeing pick'ems. We're seeing Chicago 1. I mean, that's a divisional playoff game where they split in the season, Bill. It's a coin flip game.
There's the line right there. Circa, as you see, has pick'em. Right next to that is Chris, Sports 411 is -1, minus $1.14. And I got to tell you, I am real tempted, as it's an anti-Chicago play, just like it's an anti-Pittsburgh play. Yeah, it's an anti-Chicago play. I really don't bet a lot of money on NFL sides. Like NFL props, I'll bet whatever I can get. I mean, thank God some of these books here in town take 2,000 and 1,000. BetMGM has been taking a couple thousand from me. I'll bet as much as I can on NFL props, but sides I really usually don't bet that much. But I am going to be betting anti-plays on. I'm going against Chicago and going against Pittsburgh. I do like.
Thoughts on Patriots too. I mean, I almost put Patriots in that same ilk. They got one win against a winning team last year. Do you kind of put Patriots in that same category? They're 3.5-point favorites going up against the Chargers at home this weekend. And sure, Chargers are nothing to sneeze at, but when you talk about strength of schedule and how much it matters heading into come playoff time, I put the Patriots kind of in that same ilk as how I view the Steelers, how I view the Bears.
Looking at the 4 that I see at South Point.
Oh, there's a 4.
Yeah, South Point's 4. I'm looking right now, my odds logic screen. That's pretty tempting. You're right. It's pretty tempting, but I did not bet the game. It's 3.5 everywhere. Didn't bet it. If it was 3, this is how the margins are so close. If that game was 3, I'd probably lean to the Patriots, but with the 4, I would lean to the dog probably, but I'm not betting it. So I'm telling you the games that I bet.
Interesting.
I bet Houston. I don't like the road so much so in games, but I bet Houston. boy, I tell you, I didn't want to come on here and give sides. Listen, this is peanut.
Yeah, I got you. I just had to get your thoughts. I'm not putting you in a box here, Crack, but I just wanted to get your thoughts. I know you do want to give people an NBA prop, so that's the specialty here, Bill. You just went 8-0 with your NFL props. Hell of a weekend. What's the free play on the hardwood for the folks tonight?
Yeah, it's been good. Like I said last week, 41 units. That's between everything, though. I actually won on like everything last week. So let me make sure the line's right, because I did this an hour ago. Okay, Maxey. Yeah, Maxey from the 76ers over. God, it sounds like a lot, but I know this is what the numbers show, though. Over 35.5 points and assists. He's gonna have Embiid with him tonight, so Denver shouldn't double team. Nuggets are bottom 5 in the NBA too, allowing points, assists against point guards. Maxey should have a big night tonight, and 35.5 minus 15. I'm looking at over 36.5 plus 05. Okay, good. So there's a couple places there you guys can bet these things. It's funny. I never was an over guy. I was always an under guy, like 70% of my bets. But I've adjusted more. I was probably like 75, 80% over. I'm probably more like 60%. I'm sorry, 75, 80% unders. I am more like probably not 50-50, but I'm still like 60% unders. But overs, I have adjusted to in general. And like I said, part of the 8-0 was some overs. Including like Austin last night in the NFL, Austin and Pittsburgh. Like I had overs receiving yards. So I will bet overs on certain things, but here's a little hint. There will never be a time. One time I had Rodgers over this year, quarterback. I don't think I'll ever bet a quarterback over again. I'm an under on quarterbacks. I'm an under. People love to see these big quarterbacks like Stafford. Think about this. Big game yesterday, played the entire game, which I didn't expect. I had under Stafford yards. It still went under. Even though he had a big offensive game. And, they won the game. I think they scored like 37 points or something. I think they scored a ton of points and still went under. That's exactly why these numbers are so overinflated on marquee players like a Stafford, like maybe a key running back or a key wide receiver, but mostly the quarterbacks because they're in the spotlight. I'll have unders on most of those quarterbacks. It's funny, the one time I had over this year on Rodgers, he didn't get there. So
it seems like he only gets there when he's playing that Ravens defense is when he finally is able to light it up. I will say on the Maxey prop, and that's over points and assists. You said points and assists is what we're going over.
Yeah, points and assists.
Last time that he faced off against the Nuggets, it was a 42-point night, 28, 25, 29. He's gone over this with some regularity. It's a team that he matches up well against. I'm a Sixers guy, so I'm going to be tailing that one. Bill, before we send you on your way, brother, what do you got rocking and rolling? I'm sure you already got some stuff locked and ready to go as we head into the week. It is a big-time betting week.
It's real simple. Even though the playoffs are here, I know everyone wants to bet. They get excited. Oh, my God, I look forward to betting. And it's a great week to watch football. But as far as I probably won't have any sides, possibly a first half total we're looking at, or even maybe a full game total. But anyway, we're looking at that. However, the props that are obtainable, I can't stress enough. I'm going to have playoff props. I'm going to have Super Bowl props. Get on board for the next month so you get the Super Bowl. I'll just tell you that. We have to. Yep. I can't stress it enough. Every week I go on and say it. Thank you for the people that have listened. Thank you for beating your man. I'll just tell you that. I absolutely love it. I enjoy beating bookmakers and having them sweat and shake and throw people out so you can beard back in. They're so effing stupid. You get right back in, so it doesn't matter. And by the way, thank you for the sports books that have thrown me out. Thank you for the bonuses. We really appreciate coming back in and getting brand new bonuses again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed. And I know we had a lot of people in the chat asking about the FCS championship. Bill has a play up right now. 5%er on the FCS championship. You can grab over his page, wt.buzz/crack. Bill, always a pleasure, man. Best of luck on that play. Best of luck this week. We'll see you next Monday, man. And yeah, you can grab that play, Andy, $35, or you get the all access. As a prop bettor, all access is great simply because these lines are volatile. These lines do move. So these all access clients, they get the notification to their inbox from the email the second the play goes up. And in prop betting, I would argue that's even more important than when you're betting sides and totals.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm a props guy. We'll talk about some props, but let's bring in Steve Merril. He's been patiently waiting. Steve, thank you very much for patiently waiting. We had a lot of information to get through. How was your weekend, sir?
Oh, we always do.
It went well. 11-4 start to the new year in basketball and football. It's a 73% start. Yeah, it's funny, guys. As Dan knows, I told everybody in the videos because we had some great promo codes the last week of December. I was like, don't wait until January 1st to make that New Year's resolution. Well, I guess people should have waited till January. Oh, that's actually not true. We won the last week of December. So it was good to get in the week before because you're still on board now. But yeah, it's been a great start to the new year, and we'll look to keep it rolling tonight. I've got one NBA best bet tonight and also a free college basketball play on my page. And we're not talking about either one of them here. I'm going to give you 3 more games free. But yet another reason to go to my page every day at WagerTalk.com. And don't forget, the best bets are recapped. You can see those last 20 plays. You can click on them, read the analysis afterwards, and to get the thought process. And as Dan loves to do, learn while you earn at WagerTalk TV.
Together. Learn and earn and win together, my friend.
But what's funny, Dan, is you can learn and earn and win together at WagerTalk.com because you can see everybody's best bets and recaps afterwards.
Great point.
Yeah, I do highly recommend doing that, by the way. It's like a free course in sports betting, right? Everyone's like, I don't have enough of a bankroll. I'm not a big enough bettor to buy the best bet service. I love the free plays, Steve, and the videos, and that's why I do them, and that's why we put them on the page. But as you're building your bankroll, you can educate yourself also. Go to Andy's page, go to my page, go to Crackman's page, click on the analysis afterwards. I mean, it's really a great resource for free.
Appreciate that. Yeah, if you go to my page, we'll show you how to take 2 soccer plays and parlay them with an NFL money line for a 4%.
It ain't broke, baby.
5% winner. You're like, who's this team? Who's this team?
And then you can Google all the games Andy's using to find out what countries they're located in.
And you can try and figure out who Johnny
ChatGPT, where is
we're taking is under average on darts in the World Championships. Yeah, a lot of fun. All right, let's go over some teams we do know about. We got a doubleheader in the NBA tonight. We got Nuggets, Sixers, Warriors, and Clippers. We got this Nuggets, Sixers. I mean, the Nuggets are just trying to tread water here with the amount of injuries. They did get Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun back, so that's going to help. You got the Sixers team that, man, are they just riding the hottest Tyrese Maxey right now. He's playing incredible ball. So I'll let you start with the Nuggets and Sixers. I'm not going to interrupt you. We'll just go right into Warriors and Clippers on this NBC Peacock doubleheader.
2 national TV games in the NBA tonight on Monday, January the 5th, both on the Peacock Network. If you know where to locate that, it's a spinoff of NBC. But yeah, we got Amazon Prime games. We got Peacock, a lot of national TV NBA games for the next few months. And this is your doubleheader. We'll start with the first game at 8:30 Eastern tonight, Denver, Philadelphia. And boy, is it a big number. Open Philly 9. It's now up to 12, some 11.5s, 12.5. So we'll just say 12 right now. If you look at the overall stats this season, it's a huge overreaction. Denver's been the better team this year, but obviously it's not the same Nuggets team as of the last week of December when Jokic got injured against Miami back on December 29th. They've now played 3.5 games basically without him. It has not been pretty overall. They lost that Miami game, of course. In fact, if you include that Miami game, they're just 1-3 straight up. One at Toronto, though, is a 7-point dog the next game without him. We always see that bounce back when the superstar is out. And they've dropped back-to-back games since. However, this is still a Nuggets team that I think is pretty good offensively and maybe a little suspect on defense. And the reason I say that, the last 2 games, they've given up over 50% shooting. In fact, if you go back, even when Jokic was in the lineup still, they've given up over 50% shooting now in 4 of their last 5 games, and they've given up 49% or worse in 6 of their last 7. Even with Jokic, the big man in the middle, they were not playing great defense. I don't think that's gotten any better. But what did improve in that Brooklyn loss yesterday on Sunday is that the offense got better. They shot 48% from the field after shooting just 42.5 the first 2 games without Jokic. I think we can ride maybe that offensive improvement tonight. I would lean towards the Nuggets plus 12, 12.5. I think this is a vast overreaction as they are starting to get a little healthier elsewhere. But I like the over better, over 229 in this one. Keep an eye on the injury report, though. These lines have been moving around all day, hopping up. Embiid is listed as probable. Denver might have some other guys in or out. Playground mentality. tired teams. Defense very questionable with Denver. I like the up and over 229, and I would lean towards the Nuggets plus 12, 12.5. I just think this looks like a little bit of an overreaction at 8:40 Eastern. All right, your late night game on Peacock out on the West Coast, Golden State Clippers. This should be a good one. Golden State opened a 1.5-point favorite. Very little movement on Monday so far. They're still a 1.5-point favorite. A few ones out there. Totals moved a little bit to the over in this one. Opened 224, now up to 225.5 in most locations as of Monday afternoon. Clippers, pretty good current form. Didn't look great in their last game, blowout loss. But before that, they had won 6 in a row straight up and against the spread. And the loss I'm talking about, of course, came on Saturday and when they lost by 31 as a 1-point home favorite against the Celtics. I don't think anything's broken. This is still a team that's 6-1 straight up in ATS their last 7. Playing pretty good defense overall. In fact, the one bad defensive outing, not surprisingly, was that Celtics game. But whenever you get a team that's in good current form, nothing necessarily wrong with them, and they have a terrible defensive outing, they remain at home, day off to practice and regroup, I usually look for a better showing. So I do think the Clippers are the preferred side as the +1 home dog tonight. And Golden State, decent record over the last couple of weeks, 6-2 straight up. But if you look at their spread record, they're just 1-4 against the spread the last 5, which tells you they're an overrated team right now in the betting public and the odds makers. At least their numbers are a little too high. They're winning, but they're not covering. And I think that's the case here again tonight, as they don't deserve to be a 1-point favorite. I think the Clippers win this game, and they're a live dog at +1. And it's also not that it's a huge deal, but it is a revenge game from late October, back in like the 4th, 5th game of the season. Clippers lost by 19 on the road at Golden State. A little bit of a revenge factor, team in good current form, but most importantly, coming off a bad showing defensively. I think the wrong team is favored here. Clippers +1, a live dog tonight in your late game on Peacock at 10:40 Eastern.
Great breakdowns, Steve Merril. We're going to go to college basketball. Michigan State, USC. I'm not a big college basketball fan. I know Michigan has been having a monster year. Talk to us about this Michigan State team and this USC team. Where are these teams at right now? What do you expect from the matchup tonight?
Yeah, maybe per capita, the best basketball in the country. The best basketball in the country has been in the state of Michigan. The Detroit Pistons having a pretty solid season in the NBA. Michigan Wolverines are definitely the best team in college basketball based on my ratings. But Michigan State's pretty good as well. In fact, this is a top 25 matchup tonight on Monday between USC and Michigan State. USC coming in 24th last week in the AP. I believe Michigan State's like 9th. USC did fall out of the coaches poll last week. They dropped out of the top 25. And, of course, they did not look very good in their most recent game against the Michigan Wolverines, a 30-point loss on Friday at Ann Arbor. But as I said, no shame in losing the Michigan Wolverines. They're the best team in the country, really stout on both ends of the court. Tough test here. This is a tough double-double for a West Coast former Pac-12 squad here. They're having a wake-up call in the Big Ten, going from a loss against Michigan to now play Michigan State. By the way, this game is on national TV tonight. I believe it's Fox Sports 1, if I'm not mistaken, at 8:30 Eastern, USC at Michigan State. We saw Michigan State open as about a 10-point favorite. The money has come in slightly on the Spartans. It's now up to 11, 10.5, 11 in most locations. A little bit of money on the over as well. 148.5 has risen to 150.5. Some 151s also starting to show. It's going to be a battle of tempo in this game. USC is one of the fastest full-court teams in the country, ranking top 40 in pace and possessions. Michigan State under Izzo always plays smash-mouth, half-court basketball, always a great rebounding team, and they like to slow things down. And speaking of rebounding, 365 teams in Division I basketball this year. And Michigan State ranks top 10 in both offensive and defensive rebound percentage. USC does not rank 100 and top 150 in either one. They're not even top 200 in defensive rebounding. So I do think Michigan State's going to get a lot of second chance points. They hold a substantial defensive edge in this game. Now, where USC has the edge is they're a slightly more efficient offense, and they do play a lot faster, as I mentioned. But I think that'll be negated a little bit in a slowdown game. USC also does hit the three pretty well, and that's been the weakness for Michigan State. They give up a lot of three-point shots. They have a good three-point defense, but they give up a lot of shots from three. By the way, the number one free throw rate team in the country is USC. Michigan State does not put teams on the free throw line much. I don't think USC is going to get a lot of second chance points. I don't think they're going to be able to play their preferred pace, and I don't think they're going to get to the free throw line as much as they need to. That's where they get the majority of their scoring when they play fast. I agree with this money move. I like Michigan State here, minus the 10.5 to 11. I don't think it's a bounce back spot for USC after the 30-point loss. They were exposed in that Michigan loss, and they're once again stepping up in class here and playing another team that is better than they are. And oh, by the way, let's look at Michigan State in their last game. They lost to Nebraska on Friday on the road, so that's even more of a bounce-back spot for the Spartans as far as I'm concerned. Both teams off a loss. I'd have the better team at home with the matchup edge. If you're going to play it, I would lay the double digits with Michigan State tonight at 8:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Steve Merril, great breakdowns. What do you have any? We asked Gianni earlier. Do you have any college basketball teams that might be a little bit undervalued? Teams that might like slow starts, maybe look to play on now that we're getting into some serious conference play, or what's some teams you've been looking at to fade or follow?
Well, I got to give a shout out to my William Mary Tribe. They have a huge game tonight on CBS Sports Network. It was actually moved from Saturday for national TV against Charleston. They were 11-1 against the spread this year. 11-1 against the spread. The metrics I look at actually has them as a better team tonight against Charleston, but Charleston's a 2-point home favorite. And I'm very worried about this game tonight. I don't have a good feeling about it. Charleston's probably the fifth best team efficiency-wise in the CAA right now, but they've won 6 straight, and they're always a tough team to play. So that's actually a sneaky good game to watch tonight. Brian Earl's doing an incredible job in his second season at William & Mary, and Charleston will be a real test tonight. Their only non-cover this year, by the way, was at St. John's. They missed by 5 points in a game which they only trailed, I think, by 3 at the half. So I don't think there's a lot of value left with them when you're 11-1 against the spread. But what I'll point out about William & Mary, and this is something you can track with all the 365 teams, they've gotten a lot better defensively this year. They currently have one of the 6th best three-point defenses in the country. Now, there's sometimes random variance with three-point defense after 5-6 games, but after 10 or 15 games, there's not as much so. But keep an eye on that. Also, keep an eye on teams that are really shooting well from the free throw line, maybe as a dog. That's something I like to look at. But I really look at matchups for college basketball. We broke it down with that Monday night game, Michigan State and USC. You want to look when teams have a strength versus a weakness, an advantage. Always talk about tempo, fast versus slow. But look at matchup edges as well. And with 365 college basketball teams to handicap, pick your spots, right? Know that you have a real team that's really good at one thing or not, and then you have a short list every day. And when you get that matchup, you dig in, you make sure all the players are in there, and you fire away. That's how you do a short list. That's how you handicap college basketball. You cannot analyze 365 teams, 200 games every weekend and do it efficiently. You got to have a shortcut. That's one I recommend using.
Good stuff, Steve. Awesome breakdowns, good information. Always making us smarter. What do you have up for everyone on Monday?
So it is a great card for Monday night. Great card for Monday night is I have a strong NBA best bet on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. 11-4 start in January for 2026 in football and basketball best bets. And it's not a surprise. We hit 65% of the NBA in December, and now we're 11-4 all sports in January. So the NBA's just been crushing it. Get tonight's NBA best bet and get the bonus-free college basketball play. I do have a big matchup in college hoops free on my page with analysis. And then, of course, recap the last 20 best bets. You can see that 11-4 start to the year. You can see all the plays, win or lose, full transparency. Click on the plays to read the analysis. Learn and earn at WagerTalk.com. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And get there quicker, WT.buzz/SM. And I'm going to record semifinal videos for both college football playoff games this week and also every NFL playoff game. I did it for all the bowls. I'm going to give you every NFL playoff game free here on Wager Talk TV. So make sure you click subscribe. You click the bell for instant alerts. We're so close to 240,000 subscribers. Kelly Stewart is excited. She doesn't get excited too often. So we got to get to 240K. So then we can get to 250K and say we have 250,000 subscribers. Make sure you're one of them. Click subscribe, click the bell, thumbs up, like, and positive comments below because we do read the comments here on Wager Talk TV.
You want to see Kelly Stewart get excited?
She's a very mellow human being.
Very not animated at all.
Yeah, play blackjack, and when the person next to her hits and busts and takes her card, then you'll see Kelly Stewart excited.
Rest in peace. My college roommate did what he called gonzo blackjack. And I never forget, I was in Vegas like 20-some years ago, and he just did not give an F. And he was at a table, splitting 20s, doubling up on 16s.
People are
and the best part, and he might have been a little inebriated. In fact, he was. As they say in Animal House, we maybe took liberties with our female guests. We did. But he might have been a little inebriated. But he would turn and just go, gonzo blackjack. I mean, if you ever wanted to just throw some money away and have fun with it, that was the way to do it. So I still think of that every time.
Table. Yeah,
don't sit at third base, right? Third base is the worst spot to be a bad, non-basic strategy player. First base,
True.
is not good, but third base. But here's the thing. It honestly doesn't bother me because, and I try to explain this to people, it really, truly does not, because it'll help you as much as it hurts you, right? We always talk about there's a good beat on every side of the bad beat. All the Pittsburgh money line backers were pretty happy with the missed field goal last night, but nobody's talking about that, right? So
that's a good point.
Yeah, so like that's one thing. Honestly, it's never bothered me in blackjack if someone plays wrong because it don't change the cards.
I agree.
Well, it does change the cards, but you never know.
All don't lie.
You don't know how.
You
don't know how it's going to change the cards. So.
Right.
All right, Steve. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much, brother.
Thanks,
Have
boys.
a good Monday. Yeah. So Dan and I will go into a little bit more in-depth detail how we're going to change things, but we got a 4% best bet that is up in NBA, and in the write-up I did a full props report. There's a market watch of all the different props that we really like. So we're changing up how we do things, but for tonight, 4% best bet is up. Don't get one play, get a package, get a 7-day, get a 3-day. We've got a lot of big things coming up. 2026 off to a great start. Love when these futures come in, Dan. I keep telling you, futures is like we talk about props. Futures is just the hidden money of
yeah. You wake
betting.
up and you're like, what the hell? Why do I have an extra, a couple $100? Oh yeah, I bet that team 3 months ago to go under their season win total. Oh yeah, that's great.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a 5% best bet in UFC that is up right now. Really encourage you guys to lock that in early. UFC is not for a couple of weeks, but get this line in now. And then we got NBA 4% best bet. We hit our best bet last night. We've hit 3 NBA winners in a row. So starting to heat up. Let's do some trends here. We got a bunch of stuff. We got some free plays. We got some trends. We've got one of my favorite troll comments I've heard in a while, but let's do NFL betting trends. Yeah. Let's do NFL betting. Regular season. The Cowboys, Dan.
What, hit again?
16. Yes,
man.
Brian Power had the onions, the plums to take this one. Cowboys finished the season going 16-1 on the first half overs. Absolutely incredible. As we mentioned, the Jets, 0 interceptions this season. Chiefs ended the season 1-7 ATS on the road. Meanwhile, the Seahawks 8-1 ATS on the road. And team totals, your best team ended up being Jacksonville, 13-4 to the over. Worst team to the over, Raiders, 12-5. Just trying to figure. You got to figure these trends and things out as they're happening. The Cowboys one is the one we should have. After about 6 or 7 weeks, we should have seen the writing on the wall with that team.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And like we said, it was going to continue. So if you watched when Sandy brought this up 3 or 4 weeks ago, hey, you had 3 or 4 winning bets. So that's why we do this. And, some of these teams obviously out, Seahawks on the road. That's not going to matter anymore because if they do continue to win, they're going to be at home. They're the number 1 seed. One that would likely matter is this Jacksonville Jaguars team who's facing off against the Bills defense, who's given up points to everyone. That total's already sky high, Andy. Biggest one of the weekend, 51.5. Jacksonville team total figures to end up a little bit higher than 25.5. So that's what it's sitting at right now. You could probably shop around and even find a 24.5 out there. Jaguars team total over, probably something that I'd like to bet because I think you have a barking home dog in that one. Jacksonville's been great at home, and the Bills, they're road favorites just because of the name on their jersey. What have they shown this year that's telling you they should be laying 1.5 in Jacksonville? I don't think they can stop that offense.
Not with that defense.
I'm gonna use that trend, and I'm gonna back that Jacksonville Jaguars team total over.
Let's go to some NBA betting trends. These are ones that you can use right now.
Smart. So we're not looking at it too late like we did with these NFL ones. We're gonna get ahead of these ones.
Correct. The last 10 road games, the Mavericks are 2-8 ATS, but the last 10 home games, they're 7-3. So there's a very clear trend. One team that is much, much better at home and really struggles on the road, ATS. The Knicks, I got to bring up 7-3 to the over the last 10 games. They are 26th in defensive ratings since winning the NBA Cup. This is a multi-year trend here. I don't know why it's just one extra game, but why does the team that win the NBA Cup struggle so bad coming out of it? But they have. So Knicks 7-3 to the over last 10 games. And the best ATS team this season, Phoenix Suns 24-11. I bring this up. Dan, do you think there's going to be any NBA team that finishes 77% against the spread?
Dear God, I mean, that would be shocking. I think that's got to come back down to earth. You talk about, when we talked about like MLB this past season with Gianni, he was like, these teams, they're performing, but it will regress to the mean. You know what I mean? And you even look at how some of these teams are, bettors do in these circa sports contests. Like the guy who was leading, Potato Kamish, he had the highest winning percentage at that point in the year. He didn't even place top 9. So it's an impressive run. You want to cash in on it while you can, but that's got to regress to the mean. There's no way that as far as the spread you're talking about, sure, you can go on an insane winning streak, but that spread is that ultimate equalizer that eventually the team will just get priced out of covering those kind of numbers.
I would say the Suns, I would look very hard at playing against the spread because the books are going to make these adjustments. Shout out to my Pacers, by the way, Dan. They've lost 10 in a row. They are now the front runner for the #1 pick, but they're 5-5 ATS. So they're giving you good effort. They're just losing games like they should, and that makes me happy. So let's do some free plays. Let's do some free plays for people. Let's go all around the world, and then we'll do the. There we go. There we go. All right, we're going to the Raptors and Hawks. RJ Barrett over 19.5 points. 4th game back from injury. Last game was his 3rd game back, and he went back to his normal role and his normal minutes. This was a nice winner. He played nice client play winner for us. Played 30 minutes. He scored 29 points, and he's playing the exact same team. He led the shot with 19 shot attempts. So Hawks defense really bad. So RJ Barrett, I think this is a few points too low. I don't think they've quite made the adjustment that he's playing his full minutes. So we'll go RJ Barrett. Luka Garza. This is just kind of my bread and butter here. I really need to keep concentrating on these under the radar players that have these really nice trends moving up. His minutes is going up. He played 18 plus minutes in 6 out of the last 7 games. He scored 11 plus points in 3 straight. He's facing the Bulls, who are 24th in defending centers. So we'll take a look at Luke Garza over 7.5 points. And then I'm going to be doing some new content starting tomorrow, it looks like, guys. We're going to have a separate show that is dedicated just to daily props. I'm very excited about it. I talked to Chris, talked to Dan, talked to Johnny, and we're missing something with focusing in on doing a little bit more deep dives in props, and we're also going to do a same game parlay every single day, and we're going to shoot for the moon on these. We're going to go for some higher price ones, but we're going to do in-depth about some trends and ways that we can build our bankroll with that. I don't have an exact format, and that's the beautiful part. We'll just play it by ear and see what works. But here's an example of a same game parlay that I think you can look at. This pays 13-1. Go take a look at the alt line. Pistons minus 10.5. I disagree with Gianni. Talked about how the groups are on the Knicks. I disagree. This is a team that's lost 3 straight. Their defense has gotten worse. So if the Pistons are going to win, I think they win by margin. And then we parlay that with Isaiah Stewart under 0.5 made threes. He got inserted in the starting lineup, and his stats have gone down. It's like he's going up against the starters, so he's not getting the shots. He only has 5 3-point attempts in the last 3 games. So you want to shoot for the moon here a little bit. We can take a sprinkle on a 13-1 same game parlay. So, all right. Let's do the troll, and then we'll get out of here. What time is
we got time. We're already an hour 3 in, Andy. We got time for the troll. I do have Jermaine's asking what time this show gonna be great.
Okay, what time is the show?
What time is this comment gonna make sense? So this is your new show, Andy. I feel like I went at Jermaine. That's on me, Jermaine. I will own that.
It's going to be called The Prop Line, and we'll get into a groove. It'll be up at the latest by early afternoon. You do need to wait on some of these NBA injury reports, so I don't want to record the show at 8 a.m. and then by noon, 3 guys have been ruled out.
Yeah.
So I would say early afternoon, we should have a pretty good idea of the injury report. And we're getting a part of the season where you can read in between the tea leaves. If somebody opens the day, he should play, and by noon he's questionable, out, he's going to be ruled out. So we should, and right. It's not just
stand up
going to be
douchebag response on my part, Jermaine. I can admit when I'm the douche. That's on me. I pulled a press. It's all good. It's all good. No, it's going to be a great show, and we're not just going to cover NBA. This is going to be NBA, NHL. We're going to have some same game parlays for the college football playoffs, obviously NFL, and then you guys know I cover a lot of sports. We will be talking Formula One when it gets here, NASCAR when it gets here, these hidden gem college
markets.
Lacrosse right around the corner.
College lacrosse. By the way, boxing, 7-1 run. Did anybody make a lot of money off of boxing? I did. So we'll talk about these sports, but it'll center around props. So, okay, let's go to this troll and then we'll get out of here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see this comment. Andy has been dishing out piles of manure with his free plays. Today, he gave out Jerron Holmes II to get over 11.5 points. Well, folks, this wasn't even close. He got 3. The Andy fade is on for this better.
Uh-oh.
Dan, I don't have the
slightest. Would you like me to pull the tape?
No, I don't know who Jerron Holmes is. Who is Jerron Holmes? Who is that player?
I don't see him on the free plays. Also, who is Jerron Holmes?
Okay, so I actually had to do a little deep dive here. I went back and looked. It was not on. It was not on All Around the World on Friday. I went and looked at my free plays. I can't find anything. So then I tried to find Jerron Holmes, and it's this guy who's in college at like Harvard or something. So then I look. There's a Deron Holmes that plays for Denver, but I can't find any. I can't find anywhere where I talked about Jerron Holmes.
Yeah. So that's probably why he didn't get to 11.5 points, Andy. He just came in just under because he was hanging out in imaginary land with Bing Bong. So that's
sorry about that Jerron Holmes prop. Went down in flames.
Won't happen again. Won't happen again. We will never have another play on Jerron Holmes.
Now Brian is right. I told you guys about Jake LaRavia. Like we sadly lost the $5 Tuesday play on him, and guess what? He's gone over every single game. So yes, we've been riding Jake LaRavia. He's been good. That line's going to go up. He's been like his line's been at 11.5, and I think he scored 26 the other night. So sadly, this line may get away from us, but this is why we're going to do the prop show. We need to talk about these things. We need to talk about just these trends and these under the radar guys. So this is about making money. We will talk about the big games. More importantly, we'll be talking about building bankrolls on that one. So, all right, guys, long show, but a great show. Thank you very much. We got a good couple of shows coming up. Dan and I are going to do our 2025 recap on our 2026 look ahead. That's going to be, we'll decide Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll look and see where we got some time, but looking forward to that. Looking forward to a big week again. 4% best bet. That is up. Attached to that is the props market watch. You got a bunch of different free plays and leans and a bunch of different stats in there. So looking forward to a big 2026. We're already up 15 units this year. Very, very stoked about that. So thanks very much for watching, and please hit the like button. It really helps us out. And Dan, what's our goal? What's Kelly want our goal at for subscribers? 240.
We're very nearing 240,000. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends to hit the subscribe button. And I believe we just got a new subscriber, Andy. Jerron Holmes, research scientist at Amazon Global. Take his over research done today. That's my prop lock of the week. Take Jerron Holmes, the research scientist at Amazon Global. Over. Take the over, Andy.
Jerron Holmes is going to be like, why am I getting so many hits on my LinkedIn page?
I think he's like, yeah, Jerron Holmes is maybe the one that he was thinking, but again, not the free play. But I'm taking Jerron Holmes over his research done over at Amazon.
Well, he doesn't have the apostrophe in between the A and the R, but well, shout out to Jerron Holmes doing good work there at Amazon Global. All right, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you again, same time, same place tomorrow. Good luck and all your best tonight. Take care.